a Nigerian American Muslim woman, and I've been living in the Bible Belt since 1998. In 2019, I decided to run for Metro Nashville government, which is never before elected a Muslim. And on September 12, 2019, I won an at-large council seat. Making me the first Muslim elected to Nashville government, the first immigrants elected to an at-large seat. It also made me the first Muslim woman elected in the state of Tennessee. And as far as we know, the first Nigerian woman elected to any office in the United States. It was an amazing campaign, but it was one that not many people think will be successful. I'll never forget, right after announcing my candidacy, I was at a restaurant with some friends where I met a man named Dickie. Dickie sat across from me all night, basically ignoring me all night. At some point, I turned around, introduced myself, and I asked for his vote. Dickie looked at me up and down and said, "What is that on your head?" I told him it's an hijab. Well, you can call it a scarf. That works. Dickie looked at me again, paused for a minute, and said, "I am a redneck." And there's so many people like me that object to someone like you running for office. You see, Dickie and I were not off to a great start. I know you're thinking, here we go again. She's probably telling us about all the prejudices and struggle that she faced. But no, that's not why I'm here. Yes, I've had a lot of struggles, from verbal threats to rude remarks. But those are a very small part of my journey. The majority of my journey have been defined by love, compassion, and humanity. This story is not about prejudices. It's about power. The power of self, the power of people, the power that is so strong that convinces 34,000 people in American Christian South to vote for an African Muslim woman. How many of you have been in places where someone says you do not belong? Maybe because of your gender, your race, your age, your sexual orientation, or your religion. Some of us have been there. What about people telling you you do not deserve the job that you have? When we come into those situations, for many of us, the instinct is to retreat. We put our head down. We don't want to rock the boat. Just let it go. Tonight, I want to share with you how to build power in places you seemingly do not belong. How do you build power in places where you seemingly do not belong? I'm going to tell you my stories, my steps to power building. I'm also going to share with you some of the characters that have helped me along the way to get to where I am today. The first step to building power is the power of self. You cannot build power in someone else if you don't have the confidence that you have it in yourself. You cannot build power in someone else if you do not have the confidence that you have the power yourself. Let me say that again. You cannot help others build confidence. You cannot expect people to acknowledge your power, to respect your power, to recognize your power if you don't think you have it yourself. And that's the power of self. My confidence stems from all the great influences that I had growing up. In southern Nigeria, it's not uncommon to have Christians, Muslims, and traditional believers in the same family. My family was no exception. My dad was a Muslim, my mom a Christian. In fact, my aunt was a Reverend Mother. I grew up watching the collaboration, the love, and the respect between my mother and my father's family. And despite our differences, we always come together as a family. I also learned to have confidence in my faith and values. My dad was our spiritual leader, or imam, a role that he took very seriously. He taught us from the Quran and the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ. He taught us to have confidence in our faith and to know our faith for what it teaches, not what someone else says. But more importantly, he taught us how to coexist with people that are different from us. My dad did not only teach it, he exemplified it. I watch his interaction with people all the time. So you see, my family and my faith laid a very strong foundation for my values. It taught me to respect everyone's identity, especially my own. Fast forward a couple of years later, I met the love of my life. We got married, followed him across the ocean to many places, and we finally landed in the Bible Belt. And this is where the second step to power building is exemplified: the power of relationship. My first stop is in a small town called Bolivar, Tennessee, near Memphis, where I want to introduce you to my first character, Mrs. Peggy Mask. Miss Peggy is a true Southern belle. She played bridge with her friends, drank tea every afternoon from a nice china set, and no matter the time of day, Miss Peggy is always impeccably dressed. Despite our differences, Miss Peggy and I love each other fiercely. She adopted my daughter Sophia as her granddaughter, and she will go to Grandparents' Day with her every year. Never forgets a birthday. Our children live out of town, so I adopted her as my mother. I check in on her always, and I go to doctor's appointment with her. I remember during tax season, Miss Peggy will call me when I'm late in the office, and she would say, "Z, you have to go home early." And I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am." And of course, I continue doing what I'm doing. The next morning, Miss Peggy calls me, and she would chide me. I know you're thinking, how did she know I was there late? Well, it's a small town. Nothing is a secret. Miss Peggy taught me that when you love someone, the differences does not matter. Miss Peggy and I are from a different era, different generations, different faith, different race. But our love for each other was genuine. Don't get me wrong, we don't always agree. But I learned that when you love someone, you can still love them while disagreeing with them. And that's what Miss Peggy taught me. The next character on my journey is Miss Ann Eagle. I met Miss Ann through the Business and Professional Women of Tennessee. Miss Ann was the president of the Rockwood BPW. Miss Ann, I watched challenging presidents and executives on the proper use of the bylaw. Let me say this. She literally wrote the bylaws. So she knows it by heart. And while many people were intimidated by her, I was inspired by her. And I know that I wanted her to be my mentor. So when I became the state president, I asked Miss Ann to proof my scripts. She was a teacher and she will mark all over it. When I have any ideas, I will run it by her and she would tell me all the legislative obstacles. I know if I can pass her test, I'm good. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm a procrastinator. I'm last minute. I like to wing things. But with Miss Ann, you can't do that. She makes me submit my scripts on time. And what I learned from Miss Ann is that You have to be prepared. And she made me a better leader. I also learned from Miss Ann the act of compromise, whether it's a company or an organization. We bring different strengths to the table. And rather than being intimidated by each other, we have to learn to respect and harness all the strengths that everyone brings. That brings me to my third step. And that is the power of allyship. Allies are people that stand with you. They have your back. They always support you. My son says, these are the people that you want fighting with you in a dark alley. Don't ask me why. But I want you to remember that the power of allyship cannot be manufactured. It is the byproduct of the power of self and the power of relationship. Let me repeat that. Allyship cannot be manufactured. It is the power of self and the power of relationship. That brings me to my third character, Johnny Shaw. Johnny was a reverend in Stanton, Tennessee, but Johnny was also a state representative. In 2011, there was a bill that was circulated through the state that would pretty much limit the practice of my religion. The bill was prejudice, and it had so many consequences on myself and my community. So the Muslim community gathered. About 500 of us went to the state legislature to lobby against the bill. I remember that it was only Johnny Shaw that came to meet the delegates and spoke to the Muslim delegation that morning. Johnny told us, I believe in the Constitution, and I believe in the freedom of religion. Johnny was a pastor. He didn't have to do that. I learned from Johnny what strength and courage is. That it's okay, the best type of allies are the ones that does it when it's not popular to do so. That is courage. That is allyship. And what Johnny did for me and my community is one that I will never forget. That brings me to my last character, the celebrity, Ketch. I met Ketch in East Nashville. During my campaign, we were trying to shoot my introductory video. And we're going around town. I wanted to have all part of Nashville and asking people to be in the video. So we met Ketch in East Nashville. It was already end of the day. We asked a couple of people. Most were reluctant and eventually declined. As we're about to pack up and leave, comes this young man in a white T-shirt and jeans. Well, we have no choice. No one left. So my campaign manager asked him if he would be in my video. I remember Ketch saying, why should I endorse you? And I'm thinking at the back of my head, I don't need your endorsement. Just do the video so I can go home. So I told him why I'm running, talk about my platform. At the end of the day, Ketch decided to be in the video. After the video, we stood for a minute and we were chatting, and he was telling me about music in Africa. And I'm there thinking to myself, this man is so nice. But he's one of those young people that moved to Nashville, those struggling artists trying to make it. And in my head, I'm thinking, Lord, I hope he makes it because he's such a nice guy. We took his name and his email. And as I was leaving, Ketch said, Z, I believe in you. I love your platform. Let me know what else I can do for you. I'm willing to do a proper endorsement video like I did for Carl Dean. Of course, I know Carl Dean. So I ran to my car and Googled him. And realized that all along, I was talking to a Grammy Award-winning, Grand Ole Opry inductee, frontman of the Old Crow Medicine Show. Now, Ketch was true to his word. He endorsed me, did a benefit concert for me. We went to Sounds Game together. In matching T-shirts. And Ketch is now like my brother, someone that I love dearly. What I learned from Ketch is that you should never judge a book by its cover. Sometimes we write each other off without giving each other a chance. Ketch always said that our meeting is serendipity. I agreed. But if either one of us have not taken the time to get to know each other, we would have missed it. So we have to learn to reach across the aisle and give people a chance, because you never know where your next ally will come from. And last but not least in this journey, of course, my family. My amazing husband, we've been married for 31 years, and my 5 incredible kids. They are my rock. They're also the people that I go to when I have challenges. And they've supported me all the way. So you're thinking, why am I telling you this story? Sometimes we do find ourselves in places we don't belong or we don't feel we belong. But you have to realize, building bridges go both ways. And remember, as you are apprehensive of the other side, so are they. I want you to swap Muslim and Bible Belt for black and white, rich, poor, old, young, gay, straight. It doesn't matter. When you reach across the aisle and you strike a conversation, I bet you would discover the best in people. So, remember my friend, or the gentleman from the restaurant, Dickie. It would have been easy to walk away and not answer his questions. But my journey and my experiences taught me differently. So I sat back, I answered all his questions as best as I can. Dickie and I spoke all night. At the end of the day, Dickie said, Z, not only will I vote for you, I will defend you. Dickie went on to put a huge sign of mine in his yard, volunteered at the polls. And remember all his redneck friends that he told me about? Got them all to vote for me. And Dickie's story is just one of many that I've encountered in my life, in the campaign, and even now as an at-large council member. Don't have it twisted. Islamophobia is still there. Misogyny, homophobia, racism, we still have it. But I believe in my community. And every time one of those rear its ugly head, whether it's in an ad in the paper, there are people in this community that will stand by me. Some of them are my colleagues on the council and are my true allies. The Miss Helen McPherson of this world that will always be with me. So to everybody that has ever supported me and have my back, I say thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to the many awesome things that we're all going to do together with our collective power. I'm going to leave you or end with this video that epitomized my campaign.
Obeni fulua ashe ashe. Obeni fulua ashe ashe. Ki ulua fonomawa ashe ashe. Ki ulua fonomawa ashe ashe. Bukun ilua ashe ashe. Bukun ilua ashe. Ashe Nashville, Ashe, Ashe. Ashe Nashville, Ashe. Bunga Alafia, Bunga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe.
What you just saw is my friend Ketch. Grammy Award-winning artist, performing at my multi-faith swearing-in ceremony. In my language, nonetheless. You can't script that, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, that is power. Thank you.